Strength coach, Dwain Bradshaw. Coach, thank you for taking the time, and it's great to meet you. And we have not spoken in person, so this is the first time we've talked, and it's a pleasure. And I've heard so much about how over the last few years, the least discussed, most important role on a football staff is a strength coach, especially in this sport. And the building that's over your shoulder there with the weight room is your new palace. What's it been like on the Palouse here as you've tried to, in the midst of the COVID quarantine, as you're trying to get settled in?
Yeah. So Cougar Nation, how you guys doing? Thanks for having me. Matt, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. But with this COVID stuff going on, I mean, it sucks because these guys have been getting after it. We had a great 8 weeks of training going into it, right? So, I mean, right now, all we can do is make sure the guys are social distancing, but finding a way to stay active because, you know, we always talk about the green light. That green light's going to come, and these guys are going to have to be ready to, you know, get it going from the jump. So, I mean, that's kind of the biggest thing right now that's been tough is these 8 weeks, these guys have been working hard. You know, they made so much improvements. And now, right, it's just going to separate who's doing what, right, to, you know, continue to keep building on the progress that they made during that first phase.
You come here with experience from Auburn, Arizona State, USC, Texas Tech, and Hawaii. So you've got Big 12, SEC, Pac-12 experience, and then you were with the Warriors with Coach Rolovich. What are your initial impressions of the facilities, of the setup here?
I'll tell you what, the biggest thing here that I love is the facilities are awesome, but it's the family atmosphere, right? It feels like a Friday Night Lights kind of, you know, high school community where everybody's just all in. So I think the biggest thing that I love right now is the community. And then the weight room, I mean, it's a beautiful weight room, right? We got 22 racks. We have everything we need. You know, so that some of you guys could see, right? The weight room is right in that end zone right there. And then it's an easy access to get onto the field, easy access to, you know, get onto the practice field. So it makes the transitions a lot easier. And, you know, it's just been a great transition with, you know, with everything in my strength and conditioning staff.
Two-part question here. Broadly, do strength coaches vary in philosophies of emphasis? And to piggyback that, what is yours? What's your goal?
Yeah, so, you know, strength and conditioning staff, schools, right, it varies, right? The biggest thing for me is I know what Coach Rolo wants, right? If we were a, you know, 20 personnel or like an I formation kind of team, the type of training that we would do would be completely different, right? So what kind of, right, offense and defense are we going to have? We're going to have an explosive, right, team. They're going to have to be fast. They're going to have to be able to change the direction. And that's the program that I bring here, right? Everything is based on making the athlete better at their position, you know, because we're not just going to lift all these weights, but then all of a sudden they get on the field and they're not able to move, right? So everything we do, we want to make sure that it's specific to how their position plays on the field.
What was your experience like at Arizona State and at USC? I think that Cougar fans are always curious to know a little bit of outside perspective. What's going on elsewhere, and what were those programs like? And it's tough, I know, because you really haven't had a ton of sustained time in that beautiful building over your shoulder. So I'm curious to hear the context that you bring in.
Yeah. So talking about Arizona State, right? I was a former athlete there, so it was. You know, it's my alma mater, you know, so it was a good experience coaching there just because, you know, I was coaching a lot of the players that I played with, right? And that's really where I found out that, okay, I really want to be a strength and conditioning coach because, you know, a lot of the coaches there, no one's there anymore, but a lot of the coaches, you know, molded me to, you know, help make me become the best version of myself. And that's pretty much what I'm trying to do here is help these guys now and give back like the coaches gave to me, right? Helping them be the best versions of themselves. But, you know, Arizona State was a great experience. That was my first experience really in coaching, right? When I was at USC, that was, right, my third stop after Auburn. And that was the year we actually were on this field when we lost right? That was what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and I remember being on the sideline like, oh wow, this stadium it's rocking, right? Because the Coliseum never got like that. But and then at USC, that was cool too, just because I'm from Southern California, so that was like coaching, for the home team. But one thing that I love about Coach Rolo is it's really a family atmosphere, right? He cares about you genuinely, right? He cares about the players genuinely. So that's what made it such an easy transition from everywhere I've been and then from Hawaii to here.
All right, so what's Auburn like? Coug fans actually know Auburn because Washington State went there. I think it was 2014. They were down there with Dale Buchanan's big hit. But what's the Auburn like? What's the SEC like in coming over here?
So the SEC, it really is. It's a different animal, right? The athletes. The big difference there is the guys up front, the offensive line, D line, and then even the linebackers, and then the amount of depth they're able to get. And then two, you already know with the SEC, we had campers parking out on a Tuesday for a Saturday game, right? So that was a great experience for me, just because we were playing some of the top teams in the country day in and day out. We were a top 10 team when I was there, and it just exposed me to some really good stuff that we're now doing here.
Brace yourself for the RV lot Thursdays, starting up for
okay.
home games. That's coming in strong for about 72 hours. It's a great atmosphere. If you go to the other side of the stadium where the building isn't, you're gonna love it. It's great fun. What do you think? You jumped out at you. You had 8 weeks. You had a little bit of time with some of the guys. What popped in what'd you see? What'd you love? What do you think is an area of improvement for those that you did meet and that which you have seen in the weight room?
Well, I'll say as a whole, this team, they've had a good background in strength and conditioning, right? I could tell that from day one. A lot of coaches asked me, how's the transition been? And for me, it's been, very easy. And, I tip my hat to the strength staff that's, now at Mississippi State, because, they did a good job. So one thing that really stands out to me here is, our offensive line. I mean, that's a really good group. Abe Lucas is, strong as an ox. And then our receivers, we have a lot of speed and we have a lot of length at size at that position. So, I mean, I'm excited about that, just because when we're doing our sprints, we're doing our change of direction stuff, these guys are just, jumping. They're a good group of receivers. I would say that, they're going to be one of the top groups in the country. And then something that we could work on, and I think this is something that everyone could continue to always work on, right? Just continue to keep coming together, right? These guys are already tight, but I think family, you could keep coming together, because, the best teams, right? And the best teams that have sustained success and that are able to finish in the fourth quarter is the teams that are able to play together, right? So that's one thing I would say is, man, we're tight guys, but hey, let's continue to get tighter and tighter, because, at that point, no one can stop us.
Well, it's really fun to meet you, and I can't wait to do it in that building and on the field there and say hey in person. And Coug fans have really latched on to the import of your role and what it means for the football program with player development over the last 5 years, to see some stories of under-recruited kids either becoming all Pac level or even NFL, even pros. Cole Madison comes to mind. He's a Green Bay Packer offensive lineman, but he was recruited here as a tight end and just worked his tail off, and that was all weight room. So Coug fans are totally latched on to what your role and how important the strength and conditioning element for football is, which seems to make intuitive sense, but here especially, people love it.
Yeah, it's a great profession, because, I get to be around the guys from January, right, to January. I don't have breaks where I can't come in contact with them. So, for me, I think the easy part is getting them fast and strong, right? For me, what I want to do is make sure that they become great men, right? I want them to win a lot of games, right? And we're going to win a lot of games, but I want them to win in life. I think that's the ultimate goal. So I love what I do, and it's just blessed to be here and blessed to be a Coug.
Thank you, Coach. Be safe. Be well. Can't wait to do it in person.
Yes, sir. Go Cougs.